Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three: Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four: Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield: Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three: Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four: Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield: Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three: Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four: Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield: Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three: Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four: Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield: Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three: Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The 3 in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front 3 of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back 4 of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front 3, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The 3 in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front 3 of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back 4 of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front 3, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The 3 in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front 3 of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back 4 of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front 3, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The 3 in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front 3 of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back 4 of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front 3, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho, in come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal, and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal, and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal, and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal, and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Cruz, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0-0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. and then up top it's the front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's the front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's the front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's the front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. Well, it's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are three changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes two changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back four, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The three in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's the front three of Salah, Mane and Diaz. For Real Madrid, it's Courtois in goal and a back four of Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. In midfield, it's Kroos, Casemiro and Modric. Their front three, Vinicius Junior, Valverde and Benzema. It's a very warm welcome to our coverage of the Champions League final. Liverpool take on Real Madrid in Saint-Denis at the Stade de France. Winner takes all, of course. For the Reds, there are 3 changes from the team who beat Wolves in the Premier League last time. Out go Matip, Keita and Jota. In come Van Dijk, Fabinho and Salah. For Los Blancos, Carlo Ancelotti makes 2 changes from the team who drew 0 against Betis last time. Out go Rodrigo and Nacho. In come Valverde and Alaba. So the Reds line up with Alisson in goal. Across the back 4, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. The 3 in midfield, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. And then up top, it's a front 3 of Salah, Mane.
Well, finally, a warm welcome to our coverage of what should be a pretty good game, if they ever get it underway, that is, of course. I'm John Hogan and I'm joined by Max Hunter for this game. They are just about to kick off, I promise. There were a few problems with congestion getting into the ground, and I think it was the right thing, Max, to actually delay it, make sure the Reds fans could get in. Everybody's in now, we're all raring to go.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't want to cause any bit of panic for the people, that the ticket holders who are out there. Don't want to cause any stress, panic, and then just creates a bit of more antisocial behaviour and stuff like that. So keep everybody calm. As long as the fans out there knew that it was postponed for another half an hour, everything should and looks like it is all sorted. Both ends of the stadium look pretty packed. Obviously the bits in the middle there sold for the corporate and commercial, which is just another problem in itself for modern day football. But everybody's happy. We've had Camila Cabello and it looks like we're ready to go.
Yep. So, referee is Clément Turpin. It's all about France, isn't it, this weekend? Anyway, he's a decent referee, I think. And so, I'm looking forward to this. Benzema and Henderson up for the coin toss. And I think it's immaterial who wins it. What Jurgen Klopp was saying ahead of the game is the pitch is not very good. It looks like it's just been laid. Let's hope it doesn't come up in big clumps and anybody gets injured or anything like that. The other thing I suppose that we need to do is work out. They were saying, weren't they, that Thiago might not be starting, it might be Keita. We're yet to confirm that. At least I haven't heard any more about that, Max.
No, I haven't heard anything about it either, and not gonna lie, we're just seeing the graphics come up on the screen. I didn't see anything untoward in that, so it looks like it will be the starting lineup that was read out before. Maybe it was just it was a big build-up about it, but it must have just been body language. They were hugging each other, embracing each other. It must have been just apologies to Thiago 2K to saying, look, sorry for getting your hopes up there, mate, but I'm actually okay, and I will be taking the pitch straight off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. They said after there was maybe a little bit of a scare. Then he was pinging 40-yard balls on the pitch. So we'll keep an eye on him as the players now take a knee. At least the ones in red shirts. And at least one of the Real Madrid players took a knee. Anyhow, we're about to kick off. It's the biggest domestic game you're going to get. There are settles to score for Liverpool as well. Remember Mo Salah against Sergio Ramos a few years back. Anyway, it is Liverpool on the attack, trying to get Mane into it. And then the ball breaks out on the left-hand side, and the ball is cleared by Dani Carvajal. But already a free kick given for a foul on Valverde. So, Max, we're underway. Coming into this game, I did think that the Reds may be stronger, but in a game like this, it's difficult to know. And on any given day, certainly Real Madrid, who have key marquee players in Luka Modric, Karim Benzema has had a great season. David Alaba, they've got a good spine, haven't they? And again, it would be no surprise to see Real Madrid lift the trophy.
No, you say these are very two even sides. Back in 2018, it was a very you say it was a raw Liverpool side, weren't they? They were just at the beginning of the domination that they're now on. and they're very much experienced. They've all been there, done it now, whereas the Real Madrid players back then had very much the course still the same with Modric and Kroos and Marcelo, and now they've brought him Alba in again, another player with over 100 appearances in the Champions League. So I think Liverpool are up to it now, and they're better suited to take on Real Madrid, and I do think Liverpool will edge it.
Yep, I think another one of the reasons, I don't know if the news will have filtered down to the players, that because of the crowd congestion outside, the French police then got hostile, used tear gas. Just not on that. They need to sort things out better. It's not as if they didn't know it was going to happen. As long as they sort that the fans have got tickets now, I don't see what the problem could be there anyway. Let's hope that everybody's okay before and afterwards, but for the moment there's a game to win. Liverpool have got a free kick just at the edge of the area, and Alexander-Arnold might just want to put right-footed swinging into the box, and he does, but it's a flat delivery that's headed away by Benzema, who is absolutely terrific in the air. The ball scooped back into the box, but it's easy enough for Ferland Mendy to watch it over his shoulder. There are a few French players out there tonight, Benzema being one, Ferland Mendy another one, but I think the only guy who's playing on home soil in Paris is Konate tonight. I think he's a Parisian. Don't know if that augurs well. Anyhow, Real Madrid bring their keeper into it. Courtois under massive pressure as he clears the ball. Was he clattered into? I'm not sure. Our referee Clement Turpin is giving anything there. Real Madrid playing out from the back. We're just a little bit slow. Anyway, Konate on the ball finds Fabinho. It's a clever little dink ball from him. And then Alexander-Arnold playing the ball round the corner, looking for Mane. Militao, he's got that pace. He's just cruising speed about him. Mane must be quicker, but he just read the play really well there. Now Los Blancos have the ball back with Casemiro firing it forward. Typically Benzema with a good touch there, and then Alexander-Arnold, another tall player, gets there ahead of Vinicius Junior, but the ball goes out before Salah can get there. It's been a decent start actually by the Reds getting on the ball. We'll just bring Max in a second as Modric finds Vinicius Junior, who is held up by Salah. And then Henderson comes and the ball, was it scraped off Vinicius Junior? Not according to the referee. Max, I think Liverpool have actually made a decent start here, getting the ball down and playing. Equally, I think Real Madrid look vaguely comfortable when they have the ball. So it's a fairly even start, but there's no real sign of nerves out there.
No, you say that Liverpool, they've looked good with the ball, but equally Real Madrid have looked good when out of possession. There's nothing too concern. The only bad mark about either 22 players out in this opening 4 minutes was Alexander-Arnold's delivery. It was proper, didn't get past the first man, very chest high, so you hope that that's not a sign for things to come in his case, because he's a very important player for Liverpool at set pieces, getting a good ball in to the box, so it can only get better from his point of view. But both sides in the opening 4.5 minutes very evenly matched, and yet to obviously just taking the time and just scouting the opposition out and seeing what's what.
Yep. Any other issues might be the weather. Is it too hot? Who would it suit? But I've got to say that at 17 degrees C, really it's fine. There's a nice gentle breeze blowing through this stadium. There's no reason why it would suit Los Blancos any more than it would suit Liverpool. So we can sort of dispel that. Mendy makes a little bit of ground, goes back, then a cross-field ball. He's looking for Carvajal. First touch is heavy, but Militao does well. And now just at the edge of the area, it's a chance for Real Madrid. And just having to work backwards to Kroos, and Benzema peeled off the left-hand side. And look where Salah is just back helping his defender out there. So all the red shirts are back, and they've lost the ball there. Robertson trying to work it away is just found Militao, who'd come a bit deeper there. So didn't like there's anybody's worried out there. Looks like Real Madrid's trying to stop Liverpool from playing out, but at the moment, although Modric has come a bit further up the field, he couldn't do that. Alexander-Arnold now on the ball, finds Salah, good ball back on the inside to Fabinho. Liverpool getting a good touch here as Robertson strays over the halfway line on the left-hand side. He cuts it back into midfield, and well, now that was just a touch for Luis Diaz, who'd come a bit deeper. Robertson again on the left-hand side. Diaz goes short, the Colombian, and then the ball goes backwards for Thiago. And then Henderson just stabs it back for Canate. Everybody getting a feel of the ball right now, Max, and settling themselves in a little bit.
Yeah, it's not... If you're thinking that they've been caught cold because of the delayed start, no, they were out. They came out for a warm-up. Both teams have looked sharp and quick with the ball. Benzema just trying to start another counter-attack. Nice flick to bring it over to the right-hand side. But it's just both the opposition are just sitting deep and allowing the other team to have it, not wanting to cause concern early as Valverde puts a poor ball into the box.
Yeah, I'm looking for weaknesses in either team, and for me, Valverde's one. I don't think he's out the top drawer. I think he's a good player. And personally, I've never seen him play that well. They've got a chap called Rodrigo on the bench who I would fancy a bit more. And he's a lad I do like. Mo Salah tries to get through. Mendy reads out like a book and he comes out and takes the ball away. Wasn't a good ball to him. Kroos now settles it down. And the key cog, Luka Modric, has been brilliant this season. I saw them earlier in the competition. One ball with the outstep to find Rodrigo for a goal that brought him back into a game was absolutely sublime. And it just reminded me, Modric is still out the top drawer, and he's probably their best player. And then Benzema has rolled back the years this season. He can miss a few, but the goals that he scores, particularly with his head, is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, he might find trouble today because both these centre backs for Liverpool are 6'4", and you won't get much change out of Virgil van Dijk in the air.
No, it just depends on how good the quality is from the box, and will the likes of Alexander-Arnold and Robertson allow him to do. You say Robertson is more defensive at the two fullbacks, so you've got to say maybe Alexander-Arnold, would Klopp have said, go play your natural game, we know what you can do, don't be attacking flare, or be like, just stay back a little bit, make sure you're just checking behind you every now and then, because Vinicius really is the key. He's the speed in this Real Madrid side, so it'll be interesting to see how Alexander-Arnold goes. But from a goal kick, he's left Vinicius to Canate, so looks to be that he's playing as normal and not being more defensive in the opening 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think Jurgen Klopp said ahead of the game, one of the reasons why Canate was on is that maybe he's just got a little bit more speed than Matip, and they felt that was important. Here comes Alexander-Arnold forward to Salah. Henderson just gallops ahead of him, gets the ball back, and then he plays it off Vinicius Junior, and that goes out for a throw for the Reds in enemy territory. But we haven't seen a shot on target yet, 9 minutes into the game, and so it is Liverpool on the ball with Van Dijk, and now Canate again. Just seeing something that said Mane looks like he's in a spot of bother. That's not obvious right now as I look at him running. That was spotted by the BBC. As Alexander-Arnold, good ball to Salah, a bit of space to run into, and he finds Mane. Can he cut the ball back? Yes, he can. And I think that ball had gone out. There's a shot from Salah, but the flag had gone up, and it is a goal kick. He just couldn't get to the ball before it rolled over the byline.
Yeah, flag went up straight away from the assistant referee. He's on the right side of the pitch, and just a quick look of the replay, it was Casemiro won't be happy with his clearance. He was rather just put it straight back into the middle of the field, but he's fortunate that the assistant referee put his flag up, gave the opportunity to Salah. It's very unlikely given that midfield three of Casemiro, Modric and Kroos is just, you see, which midfield would you have? Would you have the Liverpool midfield three or the Real Madrid? They're both equally as good and definitely have each individual qualities. They're probably a bit more speed in the Liverpool one, but there's also probably better passes of the ball in the Real Madrid one.
Well, I mean, out of them all, I think I'd take Modric, I think he's been the best player over a longer period.
Yeah.
But I'd probably then be thinking Fabinho and Thiago as it stands. But they've got different attributes, like you say. Jordan Henderson, what an engine that fella's got on him, and leadership qualities too. And I think if we roll back the clock, Toni Kroos, you'd have to think about him, wouldn't you? But anyway, he's possibly a little bit long in the tooth. And for me, when I've watched Real Madrid this season, he's not quite, contributing as he may have done in the past. I'll couch it like that. Casemiro is a good, strong player in the middle as well, more maybe defensive-minded. Does make the odd mistake, though. Anyhow, it is Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0. We're only, weirdly, 12 minutes into the game. There have been a long delay, half an hour before kick-off. But that's all behind us now, and a little bit of football being played, which I've seen Real Madrid, weirdly, according to the stats, the BBC, dominate possession. It hasn't looked like that.
No, not to my eye. No, it's both been equal footing in the game, and nobody's really penetrated the penalty area. Neither goalkeeper has really had to make a save at all. There's only bit of hesitancy you said was a long ball over the box, which didn't quite make it to the penalty area. Konate and Alisson sort of looked to each other, but it was easily dealt with in the end. Other than that, no real cause for concern for Liverpool fans or Real Madrid fans. Yeah,
apparently there are still fans outside, so whatever they've done today, they've made a real mess of it, haven't they? Which you think all the time they've got to prepare.
Yeah, but we don't know if they're ticketed fans or ticketless fans who are still hanging around trying to find a way in. But from the cameras from the pictures we're seeing, we're not seeing any empty seats. They're not making a point of it. But then again, why would they make a point of it if they're UEFA director?
No, exactly. Anyway. That's really unfortunate. Imagine that you'd spent all the time and money to get there, and then for some reason, you're held up, and the communication is poor. Anyway, it is what it is, and they're at least trying to remain calm. The fans who are still outside, but here come Liverpool trying to get forward. Mane can't find Salah, and some good defending there, but Real Madrid back deep at the minute. All hands to pumps for them as Van Dijk finds Fabinho, and it's Liverpool again. Alexander-Arnold, good ball to Diaz. First opportunity for him to take on Carvajal. Can he run him into the box? Yes, he can. The Colombia skips over a challenge just to the edge of the area. Forced to put his foot on the ball. Go back to Thiago, back to Diaz. He's got Robertson with him. Can he find a cross? Cross comes in. Took a little deflection there, and Mendy is cool and he's calm, and he chests that back to his keeper.
Yeah, Robertson looking for Mane in the right position, but there was only, just looking at the replay here, there was only Mane in the box, and he was surrounded by players in white shirts. So Liverpool, I don't know if they're hesitant or whether it's been a tactical ploy not to rush out and crowd the penalty area too early and get caught in the counter-attack, or a few players caught in the heels, not expecting Robertson to put it into the box. But Diaz now, in the last minute or so, has really got his head into the game, but then Salah can't bring that down. Very rare mistake from the Egyptian.
Here comes Vinicius Junior. The ball's breaking the other way now. He's only got Benzema ahead of him. Got to try and hold the ball up, but he can't. Konate gets there, gets a foot in, and then he gets beyond him as well. That's brilliant. And the Reds fans are up off their seats as now Salah picks up the ball. He runs into a challenge of Toni Kroos. The ball goes out. It will be a Liverpool throw. That is why Konate is out there today. For one moment, it looked like Vinicius Junior had got the ball back, but he's so strong and he's so quick.
Yeah, Vinicius Junior he was just looking at the replay. He didn't look too interested in trying to in that 50-50 shoulder barge. Then he was very much at 90% to 10 in Konate's favour, and then he was confident enough to get the ball in between his feet, knock it forward, bring it sprinting to the halfway line, trying to forward a new counter-attack himself. Maybe something again in his column rather than Joel Matip's in that favour of him. But Liverpool starting, you say Liverpool are looking better and better, and Real Madrid are just still, they've plateaued a little bit in the last 5 or so minutes.
Yeah, they look like the team who are looking to counter-attack, if anything, don't they? As Liverpool are beginning to set their stall out just a little bit more. 16 minutes in, it is goalless then at the Stade de France, with Liverpool now with Fabinho coming forward. Modric very nearly gets a foot on that, not quite. Mane comes a bit deeper to pick it up, and he finds Robertson left hand side. deep in enemy territory again as the ball floated out to right for Jordan Henderson. He will control it, head it back. It's a good header back. And now Trent Alexander-Arnold cuts into the box. The cutback's there. The shot comes in, and Courtois saves with his left hand. Don't know if that was going to creep in, but that is as close as we've got.
Great finish from Salah, even better save from Courtois, and Liverpool not giving up the ghost. He appeals for handball against Salah, but not given.
And here may be an opportunity. Diaz with a shot that's blocked by Carvalho. Ball breaks back to Robertson, just at the edge of the area. This is good for Liverpool. Now with the Thiago shot comes in, and it's saved by Courtois.
Very good as well. Liverpool just Canate again. Initially I thought it took a deflection, that's why it went straight to Courtois, but you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to curl it into the corner, but he just hit it too much in the centre of it, and we're still waiting for a replay from behind the goal for that Salah chance. It looked like initially it may have been going in, so it's a great save from Courtois, and Salah, he did everything he could. It was a little bit behind him. He had to really lean back and hook the ball with his right foot towards goal, so he could do no more. Did well enough to get some good contact, and even better to get it on target, and that's the closest we have come in Liverpool. You're right, John, they have set the stall out, and now they're pretty much cashing in now, because it's all Liverpool at the moment.
Here they come with the Diaz down the left hand side. He's getting the run on Carvalho, takes him to the byline. Ball comes back for Thiago, out with his feet then for Robertson, who'd just moseyed onto the inside of him. He picks it up left-footed, good ball into the box, and Mane can turn. Shot comes in. Oh, and it stings the palms of Courtois, who is now being tested by Mo Salah. He's desperate to do well. We talked about he's got an axe to grind. Last time he played Los Blancos in the final, he didn't last too long. Tangle with Ramos, came off second best in the night. I just felt at the time, because Salah was absolutely on fire, and no doubt Liverpool's best player, that maybe their chance had come and gone, so he's bound to be fired up tonight.
Absolutely. Also a shout to Sadio Mane, he's leading the line for Liverpool tonight, but he's sort of floating behind between the two centre halves, sort of in that false nine position. He's coming and going, and he picked up a great space there to lay off Thiago.
Here's Valverde now, good ball into the box. Whoa, he's just an inch away from finding Vinicius Junior there, who had got the run on the Liverpool defenders. That ball missed him, but not by much, so Liverpool have got to be careful.
To me, Vinicius Junior sort of deviated his run a little bit there. That's why, maybe without that slight deviation, maybe he felt he had to sort of curve his run a little bit to stay on side. We're probably not going to see a replay, so we'll never know. But without that deviation, he ended up a yard behind, so maybe that was the difference. But Liverpool are looking really threatening. Real Madrid are getting there, but to the final third, but no quality shown as yet to really break into Liverpool's defensive third and cause worries for Alisson.
Mane as well there, keeps the ball alive just the edge of the area. Alexander-Arnold picks it up. Now Henderson out the right hand side. Mane picks it up now, looking for the give and go, gets it from Salah, lays it back, chance for a shot, and that's still coming down from Alexander-Arnold, leaning back on that.
Leaning back all the way. So left alone, got rid of his marker. You don't know who's picking him up there. Kroos has been dragged out of position, maybe Modric, but I don't want to say that, they are getting a bit on, but I don't want to fall into the stigma as if you're waiting to your 30s, you haven't got the legs anymore. Obviously fine athletes, but you are a bit of a worry that Liverpool are passing round the mid and getting through the midfield very easily at the moment, and only then when they've really crowded the penalty area Real Madrid, that's when they're making it difficult for Liverpool. But they are getting in better and better in and around the penalty areas. In the last 5 minutes we've had four shots, 4 good chances, and that's one from Alexander-Arnold. Should really be doing better and really putting that on target, and forcing Courtois into a save. And I think Liverpool have got a free kick just inside the Madrid half, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this.
Yep, sure will. They've had 4 opportunities now, Liverpool. Salah, a couple of shots, both on target. One saved fingertips, one saved diving to his left by Courtois. Thiago's shot deflected straight at the Belgian goalkeeper.
Look at this space for Fabinho. He's got so much space. Liverpool, the midfielders are under no real pressure. Real Madrid are just interested in just defending that final third imaginary line, and Liverpool are getting there with absolute ease.
Here is Mane into the box. Oh, shot comes in, and he was tipped onto the post by Courtois. Oh, dearie me, I thought he'd scored there, and I bet he thought he'd scored too. That was brilliant from Mane, but the equal of him was the goalkeeper. I think he got a fingertip on that.
Yeah, and of Courtois is extremely fortunate. It comes back in his favour, and it just misses the back of the Belgians' head as well. How many times do you see it when they save it onto the post and it goes in off the back of their heads? Mane, very unfortunate, and he was in there just inside the penalty area, and the Real Madrid players backed off. They weren't interested. They don't want to give away a penalty, and they duly obliged with a fantastic effort on goal.
Well, Courtois is playing well, isn't he? And here come Liverpool again. And I think he was upended there. Come on, referee. You can't allow fouls like that. It was Casemiro who, as soon as they get anywhere near him, he throws himself to the ground. I think the referee missed an obvious free kick there.
Well, that on the replay, that one was pretty obvious. So we just see the Mane one there. To me, Casemiro does well. Gets the leg around. Fair challenge in his eyes as we see sort of Mr. Burns of football, in my opinion, Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid. He's just a very sinister man, I feel.
Okay. Well, anyway,
that's my opinion, not the opinion of the broadcaster.
Right. So I thought that was foul by Casemiro. He did get the ball, but he then hooked his legs around the man he was challenging. I'm not sure you can do that anymore. Referee thought differently. Anyway, Real Madrid on the ball, but for the moment they really got to be careful, because I think they've been sat deep. I think that Carlo Ancelotti is a very he's a very good manager. Very negative, I think, in nature. And it's always, safety first kind of thing, and we'll try and pick them off later. But here comes a Diaz now, chance to run at the defence. He nearly gets there and he nearly scrapes through, doesn't he? I just felt there that Militao was all at sea, looked at the little Colombian running towards him, didn't have a clue, but in the end...
He just got the ball stuck underneath him, I think, Diaz, and that's what gave... That was... you're right, he did hesitate, and he was like, what do I do? And then the cut ball was stuck underneath him, and that sort of gave him the invitation to challenge, but he did need a long invitation before he put that challenge in. He's going back to Ancelotti, I think it's sort of the Italian ways, and it's the Italian style to just dig in, hit on the counter-attack, and as the game goes further and further on, be more expansive. And you say in this opening quarter of the game, Liverpool have got the moral win so far.
Yep, they played better and they've hit the woodwork, and you couldn't ask that much more of them, really. They're dominating a very good team, but this is a team you can't take your eyes off. And if you think you've got the job done as Man City did, then you've got to think again. So you cannot take things for granted. Liverpool are going to have to keep this up throughout 90 minutes and maybe longer. Anyway, we're halfway through the first half. You're listening to independent off-tube studio commentary from myself, John Hogan, and now to take us through to half-time is Max Hunter.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, John. And we, like you say, we're still waiting for our first goal, but Courtois has been an extremely busy man in the last 7 or so minutes. A long ball's played diagonal towards Carvajal, but Liverpool are easily dealing with that, and now with Fabinho. And the Real Madrid midfielder not pressing Liverpool as they slowly come to the halfway line. They're very much interested in going backwards and shielding their defences. Mane's almost played through by Salah. Salah again picking up the ball, but a heavy touch allows Valverde to come back and cut it into the midfield to Casemiro, who's very fortunate to get the ball. As a Liverpool man almost gets there first, but Benzema has had to come deep, and he's come to the left-hand side to get on the ball. He's been not very influential at all. He's barely had anything to do. Has been the lack of service. Well, you can say lack of service, the lack of time spent in the Liverpool half for Real Madrid. But here's Carvajal in a good position. Immediately brings it back to Modric. Modric assesses the options ahead of him, and he doesn't like any of them, so goes back to on their right hand side, gets it back from Carvajal in front of Jurgen Klopp, who's all in black and looking very happy with the hands behind him. He's not happy, he looks very content with his side performance so far, and he's got reasons to, as it's now with Mendy. And again, there's a lot. It's very Real Madrid. They're not lively. There's still waiting for something as a ball comes in, looking for Benzema at the back post, but it's claimed by Alisson, and that might be the first time he's had to use his hands today.
Yeah, it's the first thing he's had to do. Was that ball going to drop into the back of the net? Might have done. Benzema was relatively close to it, but was never going to get ahead to that. And yeah, Alisson Becker for the first time, they got something to do. But here come Liverpool again.
Alisson Becker wasn't part of that 2018 Champions League final. He's at Roma, and I believe they got to the semi-finals that year. And then, from memory, Liverpool beat them in the semi-final, like what they saw and brought him over after that Karius incidents in that final, as Diaz on the left-hand side of the penalty area now, when Real Madrid would do well to escort, and Carvajal shoves him over to the corner flag, and Diaz can't keep it in play, and the Real Madrid fans behind that goal rise and applaud the experienced Spanish centre-half. Casemiro comes over to help out, but I don't think he really did much. So both fans have got their goalkeepers in their ends for this first half, and they'll be hoping to see some action in the second half with their team shooting towards them, and Real Madrid make a hack of it, clearing their lines. Go straight to Alexander-Arnold in the middle of the field. Quick potential give and go with Salah. Salah goes to Henderson instead, and then the Liverpool skipper couldn't find Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Liverpool are very much the dominant side in the opening 27 minutes at the Stade de France in Paris. And Liverpool will be extremely happy with the opening half an hour, and ones of fans of nostalgia or superstition will be of Liverpool's persuasion. We're pleased to know that the last time these sides met they've actually met in Paris in a final before, way back in 1981, and it was Liverpool that came up on top that night, but it wasn't in the Stade de France, it was all over in the Parc des Princes. Liverpool got cause for concern here as Carvajal picks up on the edge of the box, but there's a swarm of red shirts quickly around him, and he's had to go back towards the centre circle. And Real Madrid, they just seem slow, John. I don't know, have they really been caught out by that delay? Surely not, but they're not lethargic, but Liverpool are really making them look slow to the ball and around the ball.
Well, I think the thing is, if it was about sprints, then Liverpool would be winning hands down. They're much quicker than the opposition, and they're utilising that pace. And Real Madrid are frightened to death. So every time Liverpool pick up the ball, look at the midfielders have to chase back Kroos, Modric. And if you're chasing back like that, then it's a long way, from the Real Madrid midfield to their attackers and the Liverpool goal. So they're having to work hard just to defend deep, just to try and thwart, the pace that Liverpool have got all across the park.
You're right, the Real Madrid are very much a side in transition, aren't they? The past decade, Kroos, Modric and Casemiro have been the centre of everything, but they're in the mid-30s now, and now trying to recruit. They've got Camavinga, the young French lad from in midfield, as Fabinho lines up a shot from distance, and that was always going wide. You say they've got really players on age on both ends of the spectrum. One's quite well off into their 30s and a few in their early 20s, so it's maybe just that mentoring side of the careers, the likes of like the three I've mentioned already, as well as Benzema. There's half an hour in now, and it's still 0-0. Real Madrid still yet to register a shot to my memory, as Valverde tries to slip it through to Vinicius Junior, but that's been cut out, and Real Madrid lose out on possession again. And they're not interested in pressing the Liverpool midfielders. Sadio Mane comes to the halfway line to get a few touches of the football, and it's on the right hand side. Salah is actually behind Alexander-Arnold, that's how far up he is, and now into the box goes the Egyptian. But again, Real Madrid just making it difficult. It's playing very narrow. The back four, back five of Real Madrid are all lined up within the 18-yard box of Courtois' area. There's a fine diagonal ball over to Alexander-Arnold, gives it back to Henderson, first time ball into the box, but it's in the 6-yard box, and it's straight into the breadbasket of Courtois.
Yeah, so Jurgen Klopp looks on, and in many respects he'd be pleased, but you know what, if you're going to be the better team, then you've got to score your goal. Real Madrid, they're just waiting to pounce, aren't they? You feel they're conserving energy because they have to do, but all the while that the game goes on and Liverpool haven't scored with this pulsating start. Liverpool are putting effort into the game, whereas Real Madrid did not. It's a bit like the tortoise and the hare, isn't it? And for the Reds, I think they could do with this goal now, and there'd be good value for it as well, because they have been the better team.
As Vinicius Junior almost played through, and it's a vital touch from Alexander-Arnold, because Junior was through there one-on-one with Alisson. Admittedly, he still had 35 yards to go, but he has got the pace to come away from the Liverpool defenders. It'll be interesting to see if he was onside or not, but Liverpool come back at the Real Madrid defence, in Salah again just dilly-dallying on the ball for a little bit too much. That allowed Kroos to come in and poke it away. Salah, he has sort of his performances have tailed off towards the back end of this season from the international break, when he was obviously away with Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations, as Valverde on the ball, still yet to score a goal in Europe in his Real Madrid career, and he's hasn't looked like doing so tonight as Real Madrid bring it over to the left hand side. Mendy's got time to assess and see what's ahead of him, and nobody was in the spearhead of the attack. Benzema just drifted over to the right hand side, so they don't choose to chance it. Instead they keep the ball and go back to the likes of Militao and Alaba, and they just need some possession and